This podcast is brought to you by two lonely guys.
Hello, everyone. We don't typically do this intro thing, but I've decided I want to just kind of say hi. I feel like that's a kind gesture. It's a kind way to interact. We should all be friendly with each other. So it really has been our week, hasn't it?
It has been probably the shittiest week both of us have had in a long time.
Yeah, dude. This has been a shit winter.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't if comment on the YouTube or on whatever you're on if you've actually had a good past winter and if you're thriving in your life right now, because I literally know no one on earth who is.
If you're having a good winter, I hate you.
I mean, I love you, and
I'm kidding. I love all of you. If you're listening and you've made it this far, which is a lot, actually, means a lot, actually. I fuck with you. But
yeah, I'll give you a hug.
Man, this has been like a rough winter and a rough week.
A very rough week.
We're not gonna dive too much into it, just because we like to keep ourselves a little bit
separated.
Yeah.
From the people that we don't know who could be listening to this.
Personal life shit that we deal with as people. But I just wanted to start off the podcast by saying that we have life shit that happens in our life. We have life shit that we just kind of think about. Some days are better than other days. Some days are worse than other days. Sometimes it's just kind of how it goes. I feel like we as a society don't really take time to kind of just ask how we're doing. And I feel like we as a society, even though we really say we don't really take time to really ask each other how we're doing and really kind of think about how things are.
I think it's very interesting. We pointed this out that Michael and I, on like the same day, within a couple hours of it, we reached the same point in a certain part of our lives.
Yeah,
and it's just funny that the universe works like that.
Yeah, we're just kind of it's kind of how it is sometimes.
You really do be like that.
We live in 2019. For all of you people who aren't in 2019 that are hearing this, hi, what's the future like?
Hopefully
Comment
it's better.
below.
Tell me he doesn't win in 2020.
This generation we live in, there's a huge growing focus on mental health and the way that people kind of deal with things. I have other depressive disorder, which isn't regular depression. It's not major depressive disorder, so I think that's a good thing. It just means that I'm depressed, but I'm depressed less of the time. So, I'm not really big on the whole just blast my mental health all the time, because that's but I feel like there are times where it's just I don't know, it just feels, there are days that are worse than others. And I feel like if I have an outlet where I can talk, this is an outlet I can kind of just talk, but it's all good vibes. All good vibes at the end of the day, I think. For the most part.
I guess since you shared your bit, I'm gonna share my bit. I'd say most people that are close to me acknowledge that I probably have some mental issues, but I have never in my life seen a specialist in that matter. So, but I am very soon.
I also have ADD. Different thing entirely. I'm not on my ADD medication, so this is going to be a wild ride. But that was a very serious kind of way to just break open the show. We're just going to just all the way. I'm fucking sad.
It's been a shit week, so we're going to
It's been a real shit week. And, sometimes we have shit weeks, That's how it is.
It's gonna probably affect this recording to an extent.
Yeah, if we sound tired, it's because we're tired because we had a shit week, and I think both of us to an extent kind of just want to go to sleep and be in next week already.
I want to be in college, dude.
Dude, me too. This is fucking. You know what? Why not? We can talk about mental health. We can take a second.
I think it's important.
I feel like a lot of people who are around. I feel like it's not more people that are depressed. I feel like it's more people who are aware with the fact that they're depressed, and I think that's a good thing because I think it's helping people to figure out ways they can deal with these things. It's helping, and I'm really not trying to just talk about myself. I'm trying to make a statement about things that I feel. I feel like we live in a society that just as much as things grow, other things grow. Like there's a huge stigma around mental health. There's a huge stigma around these kind of things that are not particularly good. I mean, what stigma is good?
No, I mean, I guess kind of stigmas against like incest and stuff are pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, if you do incest,
don't do incest.
I strongly recommend against it. I'm not in the state where I can kind of get into my impassioned rage like I do about the Amish and Crocs, but
we love you, the Amish people.
I don't. Any Amish people listening that have been offended by any statements that I made about you on the podcast,
I apologize.
I genuinely do apologize. I didn't mean to insult your way of life.
I'm so glad this is gonna be on the record. Oh my god. You know how much this has been stressing me out? You hating on Amish people?
Yeah. It wasn't a cool move. But yeah, so Amish people, I hope we can be cool. If we can't, then you're probably somewhere where I'm not going to.
You never know when an Amish dude is going to pull up in his horse and buggy and save your goddamn life.
I guess you're right.
But if you're like driving in Ohio or Pennsylvania, you break down. Guess who's going to come? Horse and buggy, hammer in hand. That'd be really funny.
That would suck. That would be such a terrible situation.
How would that suck? That'd be awesome.
My car broke down, and the only person that can help me is somebody whose concept of technology is like back in the 1800s.
It's not they understand that there's more technology. They just only use the old technology.
I don't trust them to fix my car.
They're not fixing your car. They're just picking you up.
And taking me where? To civilization or to the Amish people?
To civilization. I've heard very few stories about Amish people being total dickbags.
I don't think that they're total dickbags. Look, we can't talk about the Amish people that much.
No more talking about Amish people. All right, new official rule. Please hold us this. Michael and I are no longer to talk about Amish people.
Yeah.
5 episodes fucking in, and we're already not allowed to talk about Amish people.
Yeah.
We love you.
I didn't think it was going to get to that point. We were talking about more important shit. I think.
Mental health.
Fuck. Is that more important than Amish people?
Just
not to Amish people.
Nothing's more important than anything else. We're just going to talk about mental health.
Okay. Stigma against. There's a big stigma against mental health in America because there's as much as there are more people who deal with these things and there are more people who understand these things, there are also more people who are seeing these things and are seeing people who are vocal about these things that they're going through and things that they're dealing with. And it's a thing that we as a society need to move through. We need to stop stigmatizing it. We need to stop making kids feel like they're fucked up for wanting to go to a therapist or talk to somebody or take medicine because it helps them.
I think that we're talking about, recently in a lot of my life, I've been thinking about mental disorders and treatments. And we really should look at these things like they are physical ailments. So if you think of like a physical illness or injury, if someone gets like freaking
let's say you get a fucking splinter.
Not a splinter, I'd say like an illness. So like say you get tuberculosis. Are you just supposed to like get over your tuberculosis just like magically? Just like, oh, it'll be fine. Just stop being sad.
No, hear me out.
Just stop being sick.
Hear me out. Here's why I say splinter. Let's say you get a splinter. A splinter on its own is a thing that's manageable. You just gotta kind of treat it. You gotta take the splinter out and
put a band-aid on that shit.
But if you have a splinter and you just kind of leave it and you don't think about it and you don't pay attention to it because you don't feel like it's that important. You don't feel like it's enough of a thing to put any attention towards, and the splinter can get infected. Fuck your hand up or whatever place of your body you got the splinter at. And it can just grow and develop more problems if you don't deal with it.
Next time at me.
Did you get a splinter recently?
No, I just meant the thing you're describing, people would describe as my exact battle with mental health.
Yeah, that's the thing that we need to do as a society. We need to destigmatize it. Schools need to be better at helping children deal with these things.
That's true.
They need to stop. They need to not have it be like a thing where they're gonna talk about it maybe on the announcements, perhaps even have an assembly. Really deal with these things. Everyone's situation with these kind of things that they go through is different.
Mm-hmm.
And
another thing I like to say is that schools need to take it seriously, and also the way they act, because I know a lot of schools do not have proportional counselors and people on their staff that can deal with mental illness as they do to students. And this actually goes for the entire world as a whole. We severely lack in the amount of people we have that deal with mental illness. It is terrible. It is appalling.
It's a big deal. Like, it's a legitimate big deal.
Mm-hmm. This is just something that, it's I know it's not a tangible physical illness, but it's an illness that you should get treatment and take care of. We need more people who can treat physical illnesses. I always say that. And we also need more people who can treat mental illness.
And when we use the word illness, anyone who has any mental health things that are going on with you, don't think that means that we're saying something's wrong with you.
I mean, it's a medical term.
It's a thing that fucking people go through that we have, that we all need to address and we need to be able to deal with. And things like depression don't just snap and they're gone. Like you got to.
You can't Thanos away depression. I'm sorry, I should not have made that joke right there.
Are we gonna keep that in?
Yeah, we are.
I hope you guys like the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
It just spoiled the movie. If you haven't seen the movie by now, then
it's been 2 months. It's okay.
2 months?
That's my rule for spoilers.
Oh, okay. It's been more than 2 months.
I know.
So like,
it's not something. It's, as I was saying to like tuberculosis, as Michael was saying to the splinter, like it's not something that that is just wiped away. You can't
brush it off. You can't act like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not something that is overcome by willpower. Just like you can't, like, to an extent, there's the effort. So like you need to try, and it takes some sort of level of willpower to overcome a physical illness. It does the same for mental illness, but it's not willpower alone. You do need treatment, and you do need help.
And the thing about it, right, is that a lot of people will say, well, if you're just sad all the time, maybe you should stop, doing things or thinking about things that make you sad. In terms of like what you can do if you're going through these things is like in the tangible physical realm, people talk about changing your perspective. I feel like that's not a thing that's going to cure anything, but it's definitely a very important thing. If you really take time to examine the way that you look at the world, and that's not, let me speak as clearly as I can. Mental health is a thing that we need to deal with. Yeah. It's a big thing we need to deal with. And I feel like that was a nice little note to start the podcast off with. Wow. I'm looking at our show notes and everything's fucking dark.
I mean, we could talk about something light for a minute if you want.
Let's talk about Jussie Smollett. Slightly, is it lighter? Not really. It's not. No, light. It's really not a light situation.
It is. It's just, we're not. This is the dark episode. This is the black episode.
Yeah. Fuck that dude. Fucking piece of shit. I'm not gonna call people pieces of shit. I need to not do that. I do that all the time. I need to stop. First of all, if you don't know who Jussie Smollett is, have you ever heard of the show Empire? It's a wildly popular show. Jussie Smollett played Jamal Lyon, favorite on the show. Just seemed like an all around great dude.
But
let me break down the series of events as they happened, so that if you so that you can get the way that I felt when the whole thing is going down. Jussie Smollett, his whole thing kind of happens where he's like, a news report came out, got a Twitter notification. 2 dudes beat up Jussie Smollett, put like a noose on him. We're saying all sorts of
dumped chemicals on his head.
Yeah, all sorts of like hate crime type stuff. There was all sorts of just terrible stuff. My like immediate response to stuff like that is, oh my gosh, that's like terrible. People need like because it's a big issue that we
Really,
still have.
really destroys our faith in humanity.
Yeah, I'm like really wow, that's fucked up. And he's okay, and he comes back, and he's like doing shows and stuff, and he's talking about how he's strong, how he's a fucking survivor, and I'm like, yeah, this is a fucking empowering ass story. I'm like, this is great. This is fucking black excellence. Then it comes out that
It was all
he fucking staged the whole thing
Why would you stage something like that?
to make money. He has an album that's coming out, and I guess he wanted money from some. I don't know. I don't know enough about what his motives were. I just know that he
Just broke your heart.
really did.
I'm sorry.
Empire is gonna be so weird.
How I have not seen Empire, to be honest with you.
It's an okay show.
I don't watch a lot of television.
It's an okay show. I wouldn't recommend it. If you haven't started it, it's kind of like it's no point. But no, this is a fucking ordeal.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen some of the political responses to this, and I know that a lot of people in the more right-leaning community both sides do this, is that when something happens that reinforces their belief, they use it as a weapon. So I know, like, I saw a post on this about how, like, just because one person fakes, racial violence doesn't mean it's not real. Just because one person.
The same thing as fucking Donald Trump saying that all black people like him because Kanye likes him.
Well, yeah, and it's like all. You can't judge an entire group of acts and groups of crimes based on the one guy who faked it, because someone will when you have enough news media coverage on it and when it's that common of an occurrence. But I mean, what he did and what he should have thought about, because there's no way he could have really gotten away with this. If you think about it, is he is harming people in the future who will be subject to hate crimes, to racially biased hate crimes.
He's harming those people. He's harming everybody that
Has experienced it.
Yeah, he's harming everybody that supported him, everybody that was on his back. He's harming his family, who people are looking at his family, the people who are behind him, who are literally on stage with him as he's talking about how like empowered he was after this whole thing, after he stood up and defended himself or whatever from what they're saying that he did. He fucking slandered his own name, slandered Empire, which it's a pretty decent show. I like it. I'm still gonna watch Empire.
That's okay.
I need, like, now more than ever, I need to watch Empire because
Yeah,
I need to
you
know
see
what's
what
gonna
happened.
happen.
They're gonna do like the things they did in like late '90s, early 2000s sitcoms, where like they like fake a death scene or something.
Empire is not the kind of show where you can do that though. Like,
no, but like, and they only do like behind the head shots with like a body double.
it's so like this is gonna be a weird. It's halfway through the season too. Like they had their mid-season little break thing.
Oh shit! Did they film the rest of the season?
I don't know. This is gonna be
It'd
weird.
be really funny, and they came back and they're just like, "Oh, he died." That's totally what they're gonna have to do.
But they just can't. Like it's.
Well, did they fire him?
I don't know. This is gonna be weird.
Because in theory, they could just keep him.
I mean, yeah, if he doesn't go to prison, they
That's
could
true.
do that. No, it fuck Fox up, but Fox isn't really known for being ethical.
Empire's on Fox.
Yeah,
That's really ironic.
not really.
Kinda.
Yeah, Jussie Smollett is a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm gonna stop calling people pieces of shit.
After this episode.
Not after. Nah, I'll probably still do it.
It's okay.
I'm gonna
one
try
can be
and
perfect.
wean myself off of calling people pieces of shit because I feel like there's so much better terminology I can use to describe people. People are lovely.
People also suck though a lot.
Yeah, but Jussie Smollett, no, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. What you
Yeah.
did is garbage, and you should feel bad.
You should feel bad, and you should feel bad for all people you have, whose reputations you have harmed for faking this crime, and people who you will harm in the future.
You still sing good, and I like your hair.
But you're still a piece of shit.
Forgive us if this episode sounds kind of disjointed.
It is. It's our state of mind right now. It's
I mean,
the black
yeah,
episode.
but we hadn't done an episode in a minute. We're gonna try to be more consistent with these episodes.
Yeah, we probably should be.
It's not very very polite of us as hosts of our show to to just throw episodes at the wall unexpectedly. That's not to say that we're gonna suddenly like have a day like new episode every Wednesday.
Fuck
No,
that.
but you know we'll try and be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, but we again, as we said, our past week has been so rough on both of us.
Fucking chronic loneliness. I think that's a good seg.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. I mean, loneliness. Loneliness is probably like one of the things I hate most in the world. And like even in the past when I've been in relationships, I've still felt like so fucking lonely when I'm by myself. And I'd say loneliness is one of the biggest things that I actually struggle with because, if it's just late at night in my room, I feel lonely and I feel like shit and I feel like no one cares. And it really sucks. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like actually going to be lonely. And so to anyone who listens to this is like kind of going to be super weird, but hit me up. If you want to hang out, just tell me. Like it's not going to be awkward if like one of us is busy or anything. Like
I
seriously.
mean, like if you know us, if you don't know us, then don't.
That's what I'm saying. People in my life.
I'm not gonna make that same statement, just because I feel like that's not. I feel like that's not how I make moves.
I mean, it is because I don't want to be alone right now. I don't do smart things when I'm alone.
If any of you want to talk about anything, you can DM us.
Yeah, well, we'll try and answer.
And if you have our personal information, or not information, but our social medias, and if you DM us and you genuinely just kind of need to talk,
we'll talk.
We're down to talk.
I
love to talk.
That's one of the biggest things I think. It's not even like that I need to be with someone. I just like to be like, even just texting someone or talking to someone on the phone, it makes me feel better. It gives me something to kind of keep my mind occupied with. That's one of the other things that plays into my relationship with kind of this chronic loneliness that I face is that, when I'm left to my own devices like that, I know I shouldn't be like this, but I'm not as smart, I'm not as caring, I'm not as kind as I would be. It's partly because I think I'm an extrovert, and partly because I don't even know. I just like being around people, and I think that feeling of loneliness makes me feel not obligated to my own rules and the rules of society. So I just forget everything.
And the thing about loneliness, and it's not just loneliness in terms of like a romantic sense. This is just like a life shit thing.
It's not romantic at all. What I'm talking about. I'm just talking like this general.
Like, this whole life thing is like it's not an easy thing to do when you feel like you're doing it by yourself. The reason that I value my friendship with Hayden and with a few other people in my life is because I feel like when I have people like that around me, that I feel like I have a support system.
Mm-hmm. And that's.
I feel like there are people who understand, who to either understand what I'm going through or are there for me when I'm going through things that I'm going through.
That's how I feel. I mean, support groups are super important. Always, try and keep people in your life.
Have some good friends. Have some pals.
And dealing. I mean, it's not really a romantic thing at all. It's like I was saying, it's a chronic feeling. It's hard to describe. Of just being isolated in the world, and I'm not sure where this comes from within me. I'm not even sure it's caused by anything, but it's the darkness of an empty room that just kind of gets to me, and it fucks me up. It changes the way I think when I'm around people, when I feel love to an extent, platonically, whatever. That feeling goes away, but there have been times where I have been around people and I also feel lonely. It's just kind of like that chronic thing of like good stimulating human interaction that I mean, we are pack animals, basically biologically speaking, and I think I'm just extra prone to kind of needing that human interaction.
I'm weird. I'm designed to be. I'm an introvert for all intents and purposes. I don't have a friend group that is my group of people that I hang out with and it's my circle. I don't like going to parties if I know everyone. I like to go to parties where I know nobody. That's my favorite kind of place to be. But at the same time, I need it. I need to not be all the way alone. And sometimes I do, because I feel suffocated if I'm around a bunch of people who I know and who are like, even if they're close to me, if it's just a bunch of people who are like around me that I'm like connected to, it gets suffocating. But it's more suffocating feeling like there's nobody.
I just the connectedness. It's just, I don't know. Human interaction, I think, is very important in my life, and I am probably going to be in a point where I'm not going to be getting as much of it as I used to, which is going to be rough, but it's all right. If, again, I'm going to say this again, Mike, don't hit Michael up, but if you want to hang out or you just want to talk, just text me. I'm cool. I like to hang out. I don't want to be lonely.
And that's how you get yourself. That's how you find yourself some child predators.
I'm okay with that.
You're fucking 18.
I'm 18.
You're just regular predators.
So how do you feel about the upcoming event?
Shit. Wow.
I'm going to fuck them over right here. Going straight from loneliness to probably, I mean, it can honestly be considered one of the most important days of your life because of all the rights you get.
In a week from tomorrow, I turn 18.
Woo! Yeah, go Maya! Excited.
Oh.
I wasn't excited for my 18th birthday either.
I'm not excited.
I was not excited.
I mean, no, I am not excited, but I'm not.
You're not unexcited. You're not upset.
I'm not
dreading it.
I mean, I think dreading is the wrong word, but I mean, I don't feel great about it.
Why?
Damn, this is we really getting real on this episode. Fuck. When I was young, I was a smart kid. I was smart. I dare say I was smarter than everyone else. I wasn't, but I was.
He wasn't.
Before I even moved out to where I'm at right now, I've been always just kind of, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. People were like, this kid thinks like crazy, like cool and stuff, and everyone was like, they were putting me in like Montessori schools and stuff, trying to keep my brain from like,
rotting.
Not really rotting, but more so like becoming susceptible to things that don't really strengthen my intelligence and strengthen my like ability to process the world in the way that I do and did. I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the way, I kind of became more susceptible to things I didn't want to be susceptible to. Some of the prodigy that was there kind of cracked off and like fell away. And turning 18 to me kind of just means that any chance that I had of, being a prodigy, which, as self-indulgent as that sounds, is a thing that I kind of wanted, isn't really like a thing, and that's not really a big deal. More so the real thing that's the whole thing about me being 18 is just like, when you're a kid and you're like, I wonder what I'm gonna be like when I'm an adult.
And then you're so depressed because you go back and now you think, oh wow, I've done jack shit with my life.
It's like I'm just not the person I wanted to be when I want to be when I turn 18.
I never, and I'm not sure where this comes from, but I never conceptualized that I would be like 18 ever. I don't know if I thought I'd just be like, I never would live to that age, but I guess I had some parts of my life I did, but I never fathomed being 18 before I turned 18, and now I'm here. I'm like, well, not things have changed, but at the same time, nothing's changed.
And it's like, I'm not underwhelmed by it. I'm not like this is boring. And I don't feel like it's gonna be like fireworks to spark off when I turn 18, but like looking in the mirror, like this is the dude that's about to be like legally, for all intents and purposes, an adult. And that, I don't know, kind of sucks. There's a bit of self-loathing in there, not really that, but more so just kind of disappointment.
Same.
But I think it's gonna be pretty cool. You know, I feel like it's an important thing. It's an important thing to be growing
Yeah, I
and
mean,
getting older.
I think a lot of people are just at the point we're at in our lives where we're in this like mid state of like not an adult, but like technically an adult. It kind of sucks because we have like technically all these rights and stuff, but we can't really do anything with them yet because we still live at home.
And the fucked up thing is that like I don't know. It feels like so many people kind of for my whole life ever since I was younger have kind of seen me um as with this potential to be this thing, you know, and I've always seen myself in the same way. And you know, to an extent, like I like to think that I'm pretty cool. You know, I have a podcast. I think that's kind of cool. I make music. I act. I draw.
You do way more than I do.
I do all sorts of like artsy, cool stuff. The past couple months, every other conversation I've had with an adult has been like a long, drawn out, philosophical lecture about like, you know, this shit is the shit that matters. This shit is the shit that's like, you know, like you need to think about this shit. This is the shit you need to start thinking about.
And a lot of them say very different things.
Not really even like it's like some shit is different, some shit's the same, but all is just a reminder that I'm never gonna fucking be like a child again. And yeah, I'm not gonna act like I'm 18. I'm grown. Like I'm not gonna be 7 years old where all that matters is what's on television. And that shit sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't want to feel that way about turning 18, but I mean, as of right now, as of this second, that's how I feel.
I wasn't thinking about that. Now I am. Thanks, dude. Thanks.
I mean, hey, you know, you at least you're not 17 about to turn 18, you know.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
I'm already. I mean, I can take this for a positive spin, I guess. I don't care about that though, because that doesn't matter if you think about it. Because it's not about what you didn't do in the past. It's more about what you are gonna do. And if we kind of set ourselves up for that success now, like we still got like some time at least. Actually, I am right now thinking with your ideology and you're thinking with mine.
Damn, it's really been a rough week.
We've been slapped by life so backwards we've adopted each other's ideologies.
Yeah, this fucking fuck.
And as I was saying, like I'm just gonna say we still have time to be more successful, to be, you know, what our childhood selves dreamed of. Hell, I'm going into anthropology, and I might go into archaeological anthropology. And when I was little, I wanted to be a paleontologist, which is the guys who dig up motherfucking dinosaurs. So I might not be digging up, I might even go into paleontology, but I might be digging up shit real soon. So I might actually be my childhood fucking superhero.
I mean, man, like, you know, I wanted to just be that literally like I've always wanted to be different shit depending on different phases in my life, but I just wanted to fucking be a cool person. Yeah, I think I'm already cool. I already do cool shit that I think is cool that I like. I'm here right now. I dress cool. I have cool friends. I make cool shit on my computer and in my book of blank paper and lined paper. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, this isn't a pity party. I'm about to turn 18. This sucks. This just like, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be three things. And I mean, not even my whole life, from what I can remember, I've only wanted to be three things. First, I wanted to be a paleontologist, which is the guy who's digging up dinosaurs, because that's fucking awesome. Then I wanted to be a psychologist, and now I kind of want to be an anthropologist, but I'm not too sure on it anymore, because that's how fucking great my life's going. I guess those are all feasible things, but I also want to be more than that.
Yeah, that's
So
human.
to wrap that up in a little bow, it's rough becoming an official adult and thinking back on like, you know, what could have been. But I think it's important for the both of us and for everyone out there who's in our age group kind of going through the same thing and maybe feeling the things we feel, is that, you know, there's still more to do. It's it's the peak. It's just the dawn. It's not our dawn. It's not the dawn that changes our lives forever. It's not the dawn of like self-actualization and coming to terms with everything to an extent. It's not that, once in a lifetime kind of dawn, but it is the beginning of that process. It's the beginning of this is when we really get to figure out who we are and really get to figure out things in our lives and really figure out what we want. We can kind of make mistakes only. Don't make too big of mistakes, but we really get a chance to do these things, and that's something to look forward to. There's for most of us, there's a future, and if you don't, and honestly for everyone there's a future, and if you don't think you have a future, then shake things up a bit. Just kind of go for it. I always do this. Go for the riskier options and fall back on the safer ones.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make mistakes in life. That shit happens.
But try and avoid really big life fucking up mistakes.
Drink responsibly, drug responsibly, sex responsibly.
True.
I feel like that's excellent life advice.
Talk responsibly.
Talk responsibly. That's so fucking important.
That's what I fail at a lot.
Yeah, me too. There's a bunch of Amish people that aren't pissed off at me right now.
So while we were talking about that, I came up with something.
All right, what's up?
So we always talk about, we give love and positivity, and I want to think about that word love and what it means to give out love and positivity, and what it means to give out love, both romantically and platonically, and that kind of love for one another, respect all mankind kind of thing.
That's such an open-ended question.
I like open-ended questions. Personally, and I need to work on this, and there's a lot of people who might be hearing this and be like, oh yeah, Hayden's a dick, and Hayden is an asshole to me and says the most awful things or whatever. But I'm going to put this on the record. I just want to start trying to be one who says words of compassion and words of peace and actually puts love out into the world and tries and makes people feel better. I was doing that for a while. I was doing really good at it. And then I stopped because life got rough again. And I know that's not an excuse. And life's really rough right now. It's the roughest it's been in a long time. But I really want to get back to that part of me. And I know I should be, trying to become something that I was in the past, but I want to move forward with that kind of thing and with that kind of love for one another. And I think love is the most important concept in all of humanity, like without a doubt. Love exists, love is important. And I really want to have a better attitude of love for all mankind and a really better attitude of treating people better. And in the future, I need to focus more on love, both in my relationships and my romantic and non-romantic relationships, instead of, what makes me feel better. I also need to really accept what are acts of love and what are acts of, selfishness and stuff like that. And while thinking about love and putting that in the world, also taking care of myself and loving myself. Love your significant other, love mankind, and love yourself.
I mean, damn, I gotta follow that. Fuck you, Hayden.
Michael and I are both in a very rough place in our lives. And that I'm just trying to, this is me vocally and publicly to an extent realigning myself.
This episode is fucking catharsis.
It is a lot of catharsis.
Yeah, we're really out here just exposing the fact that we're just sad as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hayden and I are like super like jovial on the podcast most of the time, and then we get off and then we're just sad. That's not true. Sometimes we're also jovial. Most of the time we're jovial.
Yeah, we're pretty good. And
I feel like we're both pretty aware of how we are, and I feel like we're both pretty aware of how we are individually and with each other. Mm-hmm. And I feel like because of that, with a lot of people, it's like like talking to Hayden a lot of times is like talking to myself because we're very similar. Even though we're very different in a lot of ways, we're very similar. And so, you know,
I mean, even this episode, we've been jovial. We've made jokes.
we've cracked a funny or two.
Yeah, but at
The
the
fuck did I just say?
at the same time, you know, we are at this kind of point, and we're just sharing that with you guys. And it's all right. You can be sad too. I know a lot of people aren't having a good time. A lot of people who are going to be listening to this, I know, aren't in a good time and not in a good state of mind.
We feel you.
Would you say you agree with all those things on love I just said, just to kind of tie that up?
Yeah, I feel like I agree with that. I feel like we need to love each other as people, as in the across the board and across everything. We need to have love. It's like the most important thing. Like love is energy, is the energy that connects us, and you know, it makes us human.
It does. It really does. And I am going to be better. Rashad is probably going to try and be better.
Fuck no, I'm not gonna make fun. No. Yeah,
But
I'm trying to be. I'm actively trying to be better.
at the same time, we're probably going to make some mistakes in the near future.
We're fucking 18 or almost 18. You know,
Mild mistakes, not life-altering mistakes.
I might make some life altering mistakes. You know, I feel like if I'm gonna make life altering mistakes, now's the time to do it.
I'm not like huge life-altering mistakes. Like, oh, you have to lose your arm. Sorry. More
That
like
would suck.
more like, oh, you just made a small decision that kind of affects you in the short term, but doesn't really affect your whole life, kind of thing.
Yeah. And with that, you know, it's probably a shorter episode.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is a fireside conversation between us and anyone who's listening.
We're okay. You know, we're gonna be okay. You know, rough week happens to everyone. If anyone's having a rough week,
We send out our love.
and we hope that you have a better one next week. Anything else you want to say?
Love your significant other. Love for mankind and love yourself.
Thank you for listening to Outrospection and have a wonderful life.
Thank you. We wish you all heaven.